I'm whispering this very quietly so that the weather doesn't hear me, but I think it's actually thawing. The snow and ice might actually be on the way out. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about book 1 in the series that I'm just about to start writing book 5 in. It's the Maisie Frobisher mysteries, and the first book is called All at Sea. Now, this series is a spin-off from the Castor and Fleet series, which I write with Paula Harmon, but this one I write all by myself. And it concerns a young woman called Maisie Frobisher. She's a socialite. She's really a bit ridiculous at the start of the story. And I'm going to read you a bit so you can get an idea of what sort of person she is. Here goes. Maisie Frobisher's nose wrinkled as she surveyed herself in the looking-glass bolted to the wall. Perhaps the yellow silk had not been such a good idea. She was still pale from her bout of seasickness, and the yellow dress lent her complexion a peculiarly greenish note. Perhaps I should have worn the blue, she muttered. But it was too late now. Her trunk was locked in the luggage room, and it was time to go down to dinner. She sighed, said, "It will have to do," and picked up her gloves. Maisie took her time making her way from her cabin to the dining room on the deck below. While the ship was not pitching in the nauseating way it had done all the way across the Bay of Biscay, it still had a slight roll which made caution advisable. By the time she reached the dining room, it was almost full. There was no seating plan. Maisie scanned the vast, ornate room looking for something familiar, something which would tell her where she should be. Her brown eyes gleamed in a rather bird-like way as her gaze settled on two shiny objects near the head of the room, the captain's epaulettes. Maisie gathered herself and advanced at a steady tack until she was standing before him. "Captain Carstairs," she offered her hand. "How delightful to see you again." The captain, an angular, sandy-haired man, looked discomfited. "Oh, yes, of course, Miss Frobisher, Miss Maisie Frobisher." Maisie surveyed the round table. If the lady sitting next to the captain would move along a little. "Oh, of course, Miss Frobisher." Relief washed over the captain's face. "Now, if I may, there is a good place to be had between the Colonel and Mr. Randall. Gentlemen, if you would." His gaze was directed to the bottom of the table. Maisie tried not to look ruffled as she stalked to her place. A steward scurried up with a chair and waited patiently as Maisie settled herself. And the story continues from there. And as you can probably guess, Maisie's going to get a bit of an awakening on this voyage. The book's called All at Sea. It's what I call an adventure mystery. Everything takes place on a cruise to India. So lots of fun, lots of movement. And if you fancy reading it, have a look for the book on Amazon. See you again tomorrow.